Thank you very much, Ian, and thanks everybody. This is just fantastic. I love season launches at the best of times, full of anticipation and excitement, but this has just blown us away inside the club to have the reaction that you guys have turned up in your droves, the feeling of the room. The room looks fantastic. Congratulations to Lauren and Vicky and Bridget for what you've put together and everyone else that helped you. This is just fantastic and we love it. And a season launch, apart from the anticipation, is a great opportunity for the club to thank the faithful, the real fair income faithful, the coterie, the inner sanctum, the foundation heroes, the sponsors, the player sponsors, those people that really stick. It's a great word, stickability. I created it about 10 years ago, and it's what you people do. You stick through with a club through thick and thin, and we couldn't go on as a club without you, so thank you very much. I just wanted to add some acknowledgements. I know the welcomes have been done, but there's some people in this room that have been very important in the last 6 months to supporting this club. Bronte Howson from the AHG, Stephen Goff MCC, Adam Zhung just joined from China Southern, Chris Rusden from Hertz, Ricky Knight from New Balance, Phil Leslie from Northern Territory, and Gabby Barrasso from New Age. I mean, what those guys have done in coming in behind this club has been fantastic, and we appreciate your support. Look, we're really happy what we've been able to achieve over the second half of 2013 in terms of starting to build the foundations for a successful future. We restructured the club. Those sort of things are always a bit hard and a bit painful, but I think we got through it reasonably well. And I think the way we came out the other end with the reaction of the staff and the players to all of that was terrific. And it gives us a chance this year to break even after a pretty horrible year last year financially. So I will be disappointed if we don't break even, and I hope we can. And that's not a bad first step back. We had a revitalisation of the board under Glenn Bartlett's leadership. It's committed to supporting management and the football department and understands, in a football sense, what that means from a board's perspective. A senior coach who doesn't need any mentioning, he'll talk for himself in a minute, but also his panel that he's put together and the reaction of that on the players. I went overseas beginning of December or very late November. I came back, I didn't recognise them as a group. Happy, excited, wanted to come to work, optimistic yet realistic. The impact of these coaches on this group of players at this stage has been sensational, and you should all be very happy with that. We've put together a young but talented executive team, and the reaction from the staff as a result of everything we've done, young and talented as well, but the reaction's been just the same as the players. And a group of commercial partners that Glenn talked about, who we would have to be very proud of that they chose the Melbourne Football Club. Not only because AHG is an ASX top 200 company, but when you get global brands investing in your organisation and trusting you like China Southern Airlines and Hertz and New Balance continuing to kick on, and someone like New Age Caravans, who's a young and energetic and innovative company that's kicking ass really well in their industry, and the Northern Territory government, who upgraded their sponsorship this year but have made a really significant investment behind this football club, which is going to go a long way to helping us break even this year. All that is fantastic. We couldn't have asked for more. But we're particularly pleased, as Glenn said, to be able to set the scene for a change in culture. And people ask me sometimes, well, what do you mean by culture? It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. It's the standards by which you want to live, and it's the actions and behaviours you live by to achieve those standards. And that's obviously been led by Paul, but his coaching department as well. George Stone, Ben Matthews, Jade Rawlings, Daniel McPherson, Brett Allison, Brad Miller. They're not known by those names around the club, but if I told you their nicknames, you wouldn't know who I was talking about. And supported by Josh Marnie and his team and working with leading teams, it's just been a fantastic change through the footy club. So we've got to be pleased where we are tonight. But what are we aiming for and what are we aiming to achieve in 2014? In my view, we have two very simple objectives. One is to continue to do the things that re-establishes this club's credibility and wins back the respect of key stakeholders, those being our members, our supporters, the AFL competition as a whole, our competitors who we play week in, week out, and the general football public. And we will do this through the way we compete on the field, but also the way we present ourselves as a club and our decision-making ability. The other objective is to continue to drive that culture that we've talked about, that we want to achieve, and to develop all our people, whether they be players, coaches or staff. We have a lot of talented people, but we need to accelerate the development that they've missed out on over recent years. We want to embed this in the club so that the culture is sustainable over the long term and any succession planning that happens in the near future is seamless. When we achieve these two objectives, then we can look to the longer term growth of this club. And in terms of that longer term, I'm very confident we have a strong and underlying strength in our balance sheet. For those of you who may have been at the AGM, I talked about it. Despite the results of 2013, we have very strong real assets and very strong non-football businesses that should allow us to be a sustainable club well into the future. But our immediate challenge is the next 2 to 3 operating years. And we want to be break-even in 2014, but that won't be enough on its own, and after that we're going to need to build the revenue base of the club further. How can we do that? Pretty easily in 2 ways. First one's obvious: win games of football. So we win games of football, not only will our own supporters come back, but the opposition supporters will turn up as well to watch. And we need to be developing a team capable of progressing deep into September, and I think we're in great hands to do that. And the second way I think is not too hard either. We've got to win back disaffected, lapsed members and supporters by showing them that we do things better and they can respect and trust their footy club. I've had a close look at all the numbers, and I'm absolutely confident we have the sufficient number of supporters who have been motivated at some point in the recent past to join the club as members, who, if they jump back on board as members, would largely address our revenue issues over the next 2 to 3 years. 12,000 members left this football club over 2012 and 2013 because they were disaffected. About 10 or 11,000 of those people still haven't renewed. They need to believe in us before they will renew. And there's another 15,000 members that we know who were with the club 4+ years ago. Now, we've had a pretty good response so far, as Glenn mentioned. We went through 30,000 this week, which is fantastic. It's the earliest we've done it for a number of years. And if we end up on that trend, we'll get somewhere like 37 or 38,000 members, which is a lot higher than last year, and it's pleasing. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's not enough. It's not enough to stay competitive with the big boys in this league. If we can win back the majority of the disaffected lapsed members of just the last 2 years, we could be looking at 45,000, 48,000 members right now, and that would make a huge difference to this football club, which is why our objectives at this moment are pretty basic: winning back credibility, earning respect and trust. On that note, I had planned to write to all former members, not as a call to arms, but to tell them we understand they have been disaffected and we understand why. And asking them to come and watch a few games at the beginning of the year and just see if we can give them a reason to jump back on board. But now I'm not allowed to, because the privacy laws changed on Wednesday. And of the 10,000 members in the last 2 to 3 years, I'd be allowed to write to 279 of them. And I'm not allowed to write to any of the 15,000 that were members 4+ years ago. So we're going to go viral. We're going to put this letter on the website and ask everybody to come and read it that way. And then I won't be in jail for breaching the privacy laws. But I do want to read part of one letter to you tonight. It's only a brief letter, but I just want to, because it really gave me a kick along. I've received a lot of letters since I came here, and most of them have been very supportive. This one, only brief, but it came from a fella called Derek Gibbs in Adelaide. And I texted him today and asked him if he didn't mind me reading this and mentioning his name, because it's going to go all over the website tomorrow, and he said he's okay with that. To quote, "I've been a Melbourne supporter all my life and a member on and off over the last 15 years. Over the past 6 years, I've become progressively disillusioned. Football clubs survive on hope. What you have brought to the club is hope. There is very unlikely to be a premiership next year, but the direction has been set. Thank you for giving me back the belief that Melbourne can once again be an elite club. I have renewed my membership today, and I hope it never lapses again. I want 10,000 more letters like that, please. And could we sort of do our best to see what we can do to get these people to join up? But we understand where it is. It's not a call to arms. We know that we need to win them back. So good luck to the players and the coaches in 2014. It is all about the footy. It's going to be a long road. We are realistic about where we're at. We just need to be competitive to start with. The rest will follow after that. Thank you all for the support you've given this football club.